Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of Be Well, Be Whole. And this is part 5 of our series on the spiritual journey of self discovery.
Hmm.
In this discussion, we will be talking about aha moments along the way, aha moments on the spiritual journey of self discovery. So, to begin, we just want to say that these aha moments may occur at any time. They can occur during major life events, such as having children, or the transitions of one side of life to the next. Um, Aha moments can occur in nature. Aha moments may also occur in prayer and meditation.
Yeah, and when we use that expression aha
Mm-hmm.
moment, it's really a moment, a critical moment of discovery, or a critical moment of realization, where something that you never kind of imagined, or you never thought that you might go towards,
Yeah.
suddenly begins to have some salience and some relevance, and the effect.
So there's a process to
Right,
the aha moment.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right. And then in that moment, which is like a critical period, something changes. There's some kind of transformation, and you kind of like begin to follow a different path,
Mm,
a path that you perhaps thought you might never be along.
right.
And I think about it for me in relation to prayer and meditation,
Mm-hmm.
because I would say meditation came as an aha moment to me.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You see, what I was used to and what I was brought up on was prayer.
Uh-huh.
You see, and prayer was speaking words to God, sometimes loud words to God, so prayer was speaking. Prayer was that, and in a moment of challenge, and I would say real kind of tension with that,
Mm-hmm.
came along to me this whole sense of meditation, being being quiet, not saying words, but actually focusing on breathing and realizing the power of breath, both the simplicity and the power
Mm-hmm.
of breathing. And how that for me was a real transformation. It was a change, and to this day, since that time to this day, the thing that enables me to continue is that moment when I'm quiet. Not when I'm speaking, but when I'm quiet and I can focus on breathing.
Breathing itself is an aha moment.
Absolutely.
We don't breathe intentionally. This has been a huge aha moment for me when I realize. I mean, we know it, but when we the aha moment comes in realizing that we breathe, but even more so, we are being breathed.
Yes.
You taught me that we are being breathed, and so there's this realization that as much as we are intentional, there's an intentionality that centers us, but the intention of God breathing us leads to the intention of thought or
Mm.
the reception of a thought, which is, I think, probably where you're about to go. I'm sorry, I just needed I that uh
No, that's truly it, and I think what you're saying is really, really, really what it is. That realization that actually it's God who has been breathing in us, or God has been breathing us.
right.
Life is in us. Life is coursing through our lungs
Mm-hmm.
in air.
Yeah.
And we know that, as you're saying, we know that it's the oxygen, right, that is giving us life. But the realization, wow, we are in communication with God. God is communicating with us.
Constantly.
That's right. So just take a moment to realize that God is coming in. The ruach of God, the breath of God is flowing, and I just need to pay attention to it.
Pay attention to what's coursing through us
Mhm,
naturally. Yeah.
mhm,
It was in meditation and in my breathing that, similarly to you, Dr. Lartey, when I discovered, well, I didn't discover anything, but when I learned about meditation and its benefits, it was through and began the practice of meditation, which
mhm,
has been several years now, breathing and meditation. It was during one of these times that um, I came to the notion of holistic salvation.
mhm,
Um, during this time, it was late at night. I was in the middle of meditating, and Yeshua came to me. The name, which was not at that time, not a name that I would typically use in my own tradition. But that night, it came to me, and I didn't really understand why. But in following that lead, I came to the notion of holistic salvation, which
wow.
led me on my academic pursuit, and that was, I guess, my third year at Candler, and it has stayed with me and guided my research all this time. Um, and therefore has become an integral part of my calling, my vocational call, indeed.
That is so evocative. It's so powerful, isn't it? It's
Mhm.
that those moments can actually form for us our whole life path.
Right,
Went to it. um so that moment results in you're doing all of this research and all of this study and all of this uh sometimes difficult to deal with, these ideas and concepts, but also
right.
practices. So yeah, so the notion of an aha moment as the discovery of a practice, and also the discovery of a vocation,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they kind of form together. They kind of get together, and the moment becomes a process that leads one into something different. So it's, yeah, so it's and our lives are scattered with these moments.
Mm-hmm.
You see, like you were saying earlier on, it can come through the ordinary course of our lives,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or it can come through, a special encounter, and a special experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, so when I think of my own, especially in terms of working in this kind of way, in the kind of way that we do now, it's a kind of integrative kind
Yeah.
of thing, bringing together a number of things. You see, previous to this, I would describe myself as very narrow, and very dismissive of some of these paths that I now tread.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, very dismissive. Nah, this is what the Hindus do. This is not what we do.
We.
Right? Or this is, this is not. And now I have found a way of drawing them all together. It's integrative.
Yeah. Um, Listening, it's integrative. So there's theory and praxis.
Right.
But before even starting school, so many people may know that prior to this, I worked as a chemist.
Mm.
That was my career prior to going back to school, and there were long periods of time in which I would um, be working in the laboratory alone. Um, and in those moments of concentration, when I look back on those moments now, I would say that I was meditating during those times, because it was out of those times that these ideas would come to me, and these ideas eventually led to me leaving
Hmm.
um, corporate. Um, and I didn't know where I was going, but it started out as this feeling of, um, okay, I'm working with people, but this is not the right area. And I never thought that I would feel that way. I thought that I would probably stay, in that field for forever. But it was in those moments that I realized that calling and location don't always, they're not the same. Your calling is something that pretty much stays with you. If we pay attention, we're working in our calling,
Right.
but the location is subject to change at
Absolutely.
at any time. So that was the aha moment that gave me the push to pursue another location. Yeah.
That's very interesting. For me, it has meant a different physical location, geographical
Uh-huh.
location.
Right.
It took me from Ghana to the United Kingdom. I was not desiring to go to the UK. It was a calling.
Yeah.
And that meant I had to leave the familiar, and then enter into a very, very unfamiliar
Mm.
territory in certain respects. But then also, moving from the United Kingdom to the United States of America, you know.
Yeah.
And I can look back now. It's almost 20 years since
Mm.
I came to the United States of America. Didn't have it. I didn't really want to come here. I really wanted to go back to Ghana when I had served for over 12 years in the United Kingdom, But, but cutting a long story short, coming here also opened up something. And uh, along the same, as you were saying, along the same vocational path,
Yeah.
right? Along the same vocational path. And what it opened up is quite different from what I thought it might be, you know.
Yeah.
And but that's the beauty and also the challenge of these aha moments, these
Hmm.
moments of realization, moments of something crystallizing out of solution, to use your chemist's kind of imagery,
Hmm.
something just clicking and something
Yeah.
just coming to fullness and to fruition. And so the kind of thing we're doing in this series, Be Well, Be Whole, which is a kind of integrative thing that is touching body, mind, soul, spirit. This has been um, what the calling has led to.
Right.
So
That's exactly right.
what those moments
Mm.
have led into this fulfilling, and it's interesting to me that for you, Yeshua leads you into holistic
Yeah.
spirituality, integrative spirituality. So some kind of synergy, kind of coming together in
Yeah.
in that respect.
It's a coming together and an unfurling, to use your term. It things as they come together and coalesce, then it continues to evolve. So I wish, if I were a graphic designer, I mean, there's this image that comes to mind of geometric shapes that come together and then unfurl into another image, but it's still connected to that original
Mhm.
idea. Yeah, I like that, crystallizing out of solution is what.
And you see this talks about the continuity
Yes.
as well as the discontinuity. There's some things that remain, that continue. There's a thread that that continues,
Mm.
and then it is woven into other threads.
Yeah, yeah,
You
and,
know.
and you're exactly right, because in the journey, the spiritual journey of self discovery, those things, we shed things off. We
Yeah.
let go of some things because we realize they don't fit into, or they no longer fit, um, us.
Hmm.
They no longer fit into the thing that we're called into. They don't fit, uh, with the unfurling. So they're
Right.
thrown off.
And
That
for me, that is the very narrow
uh-huh.
kind of perspective that is just so dismissive.
Mhm.
Thing
Mhm.
that that has had to go.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
But it has made room for something that is far more holistic, something that is far more integrative, something that is far more recognizing of complexity and the beauty
Yeah.
of the flower bed, if you like, that is being created
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
out of these moments
Yeah.
in our lives.
Yeah. This shedding, this throwing off. Sometimes, and yeah, for me, I guess one of the things was a career that I thought would would provide comfort and fulfillment. That's another aha moment. Comfort and fulfillment do not necessarily go together.
Right.
Yeah, I was comfortable, but I wasn't fulfilled.
Indeed.
So,
Well,
any concluding thought, Dr. Lartey, before we log off of this?
the uh, the concluding thought would be the expansiveness
Mm,
of these moments
yeah.
of discovery. And, we began with discovering meditation,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a certain simplicity about these things. And at the same time, there's a profundity and
Mm,
expansiveness
yeah.
that one discovers in the simple.
Yes, indeed.
And that I think is worth its weight in gold and more.
Yes, sir. Ashe.
Ashe, ashe, ashe.
So, our final segment in this series, we will engage next week, and we hope that you all will join us. This is the second week of Advent, and it
Mhm.
is the week of peace, or some of you may say comfort. And so, we pray and hope that you experience the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding,
Mhm.
and that you find comfort in some way throughout the week, and that you provide comfort for someone. So be well and be whole.
Be well, be whole.